name is Tony Gashard. I'm the president of ACR Design Build, where we specialize in designing and constructing ADA compliance for shopping centers here in California. I wanted to put this video together to show you what is truly required with regards to California law and ADA compliance, which is a complete accessible route. Not simply a disabled parking stall or a curb ramp and some signs. It requires a complete accessible route so a disabled person can navigate through the center safely, free of barriers. So here's a center that we recently designed and constructed, and as we pan around you can see the white cross hatching. We're going to get a little closer view on some of these areas, but you can see this is linking the buildings together, and the disabled parking stalls are located and dispersed correctly. Oftentimes that's the largest mistake from the original designer or architect, is that they did not disperse the parking stalls correctly. Unfortunately, this shopping center has suffered multiple lawsuits just for that allegation. So we're panning over to the right, which is the west end here, and you can see a city path of travel. There's a ramp that is connecting the city path of travel with the proper landings and the slope with the detectable warning domes. And as we come down, you'll see that this is connected to our path of travel on site, which is delineated and shown with a white cross hatching. Now, the complete accessible route or the path of travel, again, is free of barriers and the slopes. As we start moving to the left, you'll see that this particular path of travel is connecting to a disabled parking stall. This disabled parking stall is located at the far west of this center, which means it's dispersed correctly. You can see the curb ramp with the detectable warning dome. Everything within this path of travel is less than a 2% cross slope, which is almost level. So as you navigate to the left, the sidewalk itself is less than a 2% cross slope. We're going to be coming up to our second bank of disabled parking stalls, which is dispersed correctly. It will be in the middle of this building. Now, this particular center has been sued multiple times. The plaintiff had claimed that the parking stalls were not evenly dispersed and it created a hardship. Well, that is true. They need to be dispersed evenly throughout the center. You cannot place them all in one location. It creates a hardship. So as we move to the left, here's an example. They were at the DeCarlo optometry and they wanted to make their way to the dentist office. Well, we have a complete path of travel free of barriers to accommodate a disabled person. Now, what most forget, meaning architects and contractors, is these buildings need to link together with a path of travel. So as we move over to our second building, you can see a bank of ADA or disabled parking stalls with a long stretch of detectable warning domes. These are required at a flush transition, meaning the sidewalk is the same height or elevation as the asphalt. So they need to be placed at all flush transitions, 6 to 8 inches back from the edge of asphalt. Now as we come in, moving to the left here, we're going to connect this building with our third building. As you can see, we have a curb ramp at the top with the detectable warning domes. Again, notice how the cross hatching is white. If it were blue, you wouldn't be able to identify it. As you come across the vehicular path at the bottom, you'll see the second curb ramp as we pan out here. Now, we are successfully linking these two buildings together. We're going to flip 180 degrees and continue on. Now, as we're moving up to our third building, we need to make our way to the front entry doors. So we come up the curb ramp successfully, and we're going to be moving to the right. As we move to the right, we're going to come up on a curb ramp again with detectable warning domes, again with the proper striping with path of travel. And we're going to move up. As you can see, there is an additional curb ramp, again with the maximum slopes and the cross slopes, so that there are no hardships for a disabled person. We're going to be making our way up to the front entry doors. You'll notice that the sidewalk here is again less than 2%. As we make our way to the front of this building, you'll see we have 2 additional ADA parking stalls, again with the long stretch of detectable warning domes, because we have a flush transition here. Now, these disabled parking stalls are at the front entrance. They are not in the parking stalls or the parking bays that are at the bottom or to the left. They are the closest to the main entry. Now we make our way through the entry of these tenants. We're going to come with another curb ramp at the right here that is clearly identified with a path of travel linking us to the 4th building. Now as you look, again, you can see the multiple curb ramps with the detectable warning domes. You have a disabled parking stall, which is located successfully for the tenant here on the corner of this particular building. Now, if you were at Clyde's and you decided you wanted to navigate to the 4th building, we have to create that path of travel. So as you notice, we're moving to the right. Each time that a disabled person steps off into a vehicular pathway, we have installed the yellow detectable warning domes. As we continue to make our way to the 4th building, again, you can see we've safely placed these sidewalks in the landscaped areas to keep someone within a wheelchair from the vehicular drive aisle as much as possible. And we cross the vehicular path again to this particular curb ramp, and we'll be moving upward to the main entry doors. This is a drive-through for 2 restaurants here at the bottom right, and we'll be touching on that here in a few minutes. But as we are navigating to our left, this restaurant on the corner has a large outdoor patio. You can see the gray tables. All of this area within this patio is less than 2% cross slope. And then we'll be continuing to navigate through the path of travel to the front entry door of this particular building. Again, the white cross hatching with the yellow detectable warning domes. You can see the curb ramps that are in the location of the disabled parking stalls. And a clear path of travel. Now we're making our way out to the city sidewalk. As you can see the city sidewalk here, there's a curb ramp that comes down to meet the driveway. And as we come up, you'll see the pathway through the drive-through that creates an additional city path of travel. This is identified with the striping that you can see and also the 2 detectable warning domes. And then we're going to continue to pan around the corner here to a second city path of travel in this location. And as we make our way around the corner, you can see an additional city path of travel to this area. And we'll continue to navigate to the left. And as you can see, we have an additional city path of travel. Keep in mind, this center is only required to have one city path of travel. However, when you have the opportunity to create additional ADA compliance at an economical fee, you're wise to do so. Here is an additional city path of travel, and I think this video depicts exactly what is required with regards to the accessible route.